My name is Lata Jobanputra, and I'm the chair for Global Business Alliance Committee at Orange County Realtors. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this very interesting webinar. Um, we we have two speakers. One speaker is going to take us to Canada and educate us how to deal with Canadian buyers, and the second one is he's from Houston, but he's going to teach us how to work with Indian buyers and also give us a glimpse of Vaastu. So I'll let Mary introduce the first speaker. Mary. Mary, you are muted.
Thought I clicked it already. All right. Well, thank you, Lata. Welcome all to our second day of Global Week. Would like to share all of Kunal's achievements. Kunal Seth is a real estate agent and co-founder of the Seth Brothers, a Houston, Texas team that has accumulated over 1 billion in closed transactions since its inception in 2014. The explosive growth of the Seth Brothers team is a result of Kunal and his brother-in-law, Sonnet, focusing heavily on their team members' individual success. Kunal is actively recruiting, training, and developing realtors on his team so each can transform into top producers. The Seth Brothers team currently has 30 members and is growing rapidly. Kunal's goal is to have 5,000 agents associated with the Seth Brothers team by the end of 2025. Kunal is a master at building and managing an effective team. Powered by eXp Realty, Kunal is able to coach and develop realtors in any market in the United States. Moreover, Kunal is an author of the best international seller, The First Generation Mindset. He is the Greater Houston Builder Association Realtor of the Year for 2014 and 2018, a State of Texas RE/MAX Rising Star in 2014, RE/MAX Hall of Fame 2015, and three-time Greater Houston Builder Association Real Estate Team of the Year, the Seth Brothers. Kunal, welcome to Orange County's Global Business Alliance. I have heard you speak on a recording. I believe it was a FIOPSI panel, and I was so excited when Lata told me that you would be sharing today. Thank you for taking the time to be here, and we are so delighted to have you. You have the floor, Kunal.
Mary, thank you for the introduction. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set my alarm timer for 25 minutes to allow 5 minutes for everyone to ask questions. Let me just share my screen. And if you can confirm if you can see it or not. Can you all see my screen? Yes? No? You can. Fantastic. And you can hear me clearly?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Fantastic. So next 25 minutes, I'm going to unpack for you certain strategies, how you can work effectively with clients from India. I'll also touch upon the topic for today, which is Vaastu compliance. So on the agenda today, I'm going to share a little bit about myself. I was born in India. I moved to the US in 2001 to go to grad school, moved to Texas 2003 to work for a consulting company, Deloitte. And then I worked for oil and gas company, Transocean. And last job, I would work 1 month, get 1 month off, a rotational job. That's when I got my license in 2013. And I hung my license with RE/MAX. Then 2014, I quit corporate America and partnered with my brother-in-law, Sonnet, to start the Seth Brothers real estate team. It's just a coincidence, my last name and his last name is the same. So when he made the team in 2014, we said Seth Brothers sounds much better than Seth Brother-in-Laws. And our inspiration was a show on HGTV called Property Brothers. So over the years, we had a lot of success with RE/MAX. 2018, we left RE/MAX, moved over to eXp. Last 5 years, every year our team sells over 200 homes, including last year in 2023. Our team does over $100 million in sales volume. Last year we did 103, 2021, 152. About 80 percentile of the clientele we service are from South Asia, from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, one of those countries. So over the years, I've developed certain expertise to work with buyers from India. And the good news is, people on the Zoom call today, you guys are not the guinea pigs. I travel nationwide and train builders, realtors at a national level how to work effectively with buyers from India. So why are we focusing on clients from India? Because, in America, we have a lot of ethnic backgrounds, a lot of people in different countries, but why specifically from India? So next few slides, I'm going to share some stats with you. I'm showing you over here the median household income of an Indian household versus a typical American household. It's about $119,000, $120,000, almost double of a typical American household. So Indian households certainly have the income to make financial commitments to buy real estate. India, when the slide was pulled up, was the most populous country in the world. We have 1.4 billion people. 17% population in the world is of Indian origin. When they move to US, where they're moving to? They move to California, New Jersey, and Texas. Those top 3 states where they move to because of job opportunities, because of weather conditions, and the cost of living. Indians tend to have a lot of emphasis placed on the level of education. Most of them, if not all, have an undergrad degree, and more than half of them have a graduate degree. So for them, when they're buying a home or buying real estate, it's really important they buy a home in the right school zone. They would rather buy a smaller home, compromise on the size or layout, but they'll make sure the home is zoned to the right schools because they want to make sure that the kids get the best public education. H-1B visa, these are visas given to people when they come to US to work. So interestingly, India receives the most number of work permits in the world. So when I first came to US, I came to US on a student visa. Then I got my work permit, which is H-1B, then my green card, and then citizenship. So when they come to US, they're well educated, they have good incomes, and they are well qualified. Historically speaking, Indians have been perceived by media to be not as successful. So you guys may have watched the cartoon Simpsons, and in Simpsons, there's this character Apu who says, "Thank you, come again," right? You go to New York, the cab drivers, a lot of them from India. But what's shifted in the last few decades, a lot of international companies based in America, the top leadership team is of Indian origin. I'm naming a few over here: Google, Microsoft, YouTube. The list is long. So if you have not worked with Indians in the past, I can promise you this. It may take you a day, a month, or a year, but you are eventually going to work with someone who is originally from India, and understand the Indian culture is really important. So I'm going to give you some key facts about India, share the location, ethnic makeup, faces of India, and the religious makeup. So some key facts. It's the 7th largest country in the world, world's largest democracy, largest English-speaking nation in the world. And we have over 1.4 billion people. In 2022 or 2023, we actually beat China to be the most populous country in the world. Ethnic makeup of India. India primarily has 3 races, and the color coding kind of shows you where they predominantly live: Indo-Aryan race, Dravidian race, and Tibeto-Burman race. Unlike America, where everyone moved to US at one point in time or the other, India has 3 races which came together over centuries. So if I show you some faces of people from India, these girls are from the northeast region of India, and they have the Tibeto-Burman race. If I do not tell you, you may assume they're from China or Vietnam, but these girls are actually from India. This person, bottom left corner, is from a region called Rajasthan, which is northeast part of India. This person is from a state called Punjab, which is another part of India. Now, as you can tell, both of them have a headgear, but their religious beliefs are completely different. The eating habits, language, they're completely different. The 4th person, bottom right corner, is from southern part of India. If I could bring one person from each region of India on the Zoom call, they would all look different, they would talk different, eating habits, religious belief will be all completely different. So what unifies India is a national language, which is Hindi, Hindi. Anyone, everyone who goes to school in India is bilingual. So all subjects like history, geography, science, they are taught in English. If I'm from southern region of India, I would study Hindi, English, Tamil, Malayalam. Northern part of India, I would study Punjabi. If I'm from west region of India, I would study Gujarati. So everyone is bilingual. Most of us speak more than 2 languages. And again, what unifies India is a national language called Hindi, Hindi. In terms of religious makeup of India, 80% population of India, they are Hindus. That's one of the oldest religions of the world. We have 12% Muslim, 2 to 3% Christian. But again, we have 1.4 billion people in India. So even 1% or 5% or 1.4 is millions of Christians, millions of Muslims who live in India. Next one to talk about is communication style. When you talk to Indians, we are perceived to talk in circles. You ask us a question, you will never get a direct answer. Guess what? That's a big misconception. Our communication style is based on the delicacy of the relationship. And what I mean by that is, if I'm communicating with my peer, I'm going to be more direct. If I'm talking to someone I work under, I'll be more indirect. Somebody who works for me, I'll be blunt or rude. So our communication style is based on the delicacy of the relationship. So I need a volunteer. I'm going to ask a very simple question. Anyone volunteer yourself and unmute yourself. Not Lata, not Mary, not Safi, somebody.
I'll volunteer. This is Sherry Bahrami with Realty One in Mission Viejo.
Fantastic. Sherry, the question I want to ask is, do you know who the CEO of your brokerage is?
Yes,
What's the name of the person?
it's Lisa Schultz.
Okay. Let's make an assumption it's Lisa's daughter's wedding. And she invites you for the wedding, and you have a prior commitment, and you must decline the invite. So she invites you for daughter's wedding, you must decline. What would you say?
And this person is of Indian origin?
No, it's you, and it's your boss, or not your boss, but your CEO of your brokerage. She invites you for her daughter's wedding, and you, just you, not an Indian person. If you had to decline the invite, what would you say?
I would say, congratulations. What a auspicious occasion. I would love to attend the wedding, except for I have to attend this other prior engagement.
Okay.
Please take lots of pictures and videos. I would love to have you over to my house after the wedding with the newlywed so we can celebrate together.
Fantastic. I hope everybody heard the response. And you said your name was Cheryl, is that correct?
Sherry Bahrami.
Sherry, I apologize. So we heard the
Thank
response. Now, if the same question was asked to an Indian by their boss, so it's their boss who asked that question, hey, come attend the wedding, and they must decline. Here's what they would say. When they want to be indirect, they would say, wow, thank you so much for the invitation. I will do my best to make sure I'm there. They're declining, but they're being indirect. When they want to be direct, guess what they will say? Thank you so much, but I will try to come. And when they want to be rude, guess what they will say? Oh, I'm so sorry, I won't be able to come because I have a prior commitment on the same day. Now, either you can unmute yourself or raise your hand. The response we got from Cheryl, was that rude? No, it was not. In the American culture, being direct or saying no is not considered rude. However, in the Indian culture, saying no or being direct, it's considered rude. So even though this person knows that they cannot attend the wedding, they'll say, you know what, I have a prior commitment, but I will try to come. The person who's inviting is aware that they're declining, but they're being polite. So it's a big shift from how we communicate in America. So I'll give you an example. When I work with Indian clients and I show them a home and the list price is $1 million, and they say, Kunal, I love this home. Let's make a really strong offer. Let's offer $650,000. I know for a fact There is no way 650 would get approved or accepted by the seller. So as an agent, I still have to submit the offer. Most agents would say, I'm sorry, buyer, are you crazy? We can't submit an offer 650. Here's the comp, here's the analysis. This home is worth 900 or $1 million. Saying no, that you don't want to submit the offer or pushing them back would make the buyer, especially Indian client, feel you did not even try. The better approach is, I understand you want to submit a 650 offer. Here's a comp analysis. Let me see what I can do. I will try my best to make sure that an offer gets accepted. Then pick up the phone, call the listing agent, inform them that, you know what, I'm working with a buyer and they want to offer 650. I'm aware this offer is too low, but I still got to submit the offer. I have played back and forth game, ping pong game, whatever you want to call that, with buyers from India, not for days, not for weeks, but for months, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And finally, they come to terms to offering what the buyer should be paying based on market conditions. True story, it's been a few years. I had a listing in Houston for about $750,000. Indian client calls up, says, I want to offer 600. I said, sure, let's put the offer together. I said, no. Just call your seller and ask him if they would take $600,000. I said, no, the policy is that I must submit all offers in writing. I had him come to the office, do all the check forms, complete all the disclosures, have him complete, provide a pre-approval letter. I had him go through all the process, had him sign the document. I collected the earnest money check, option fee check, very well knowing there is no way my seller would take $600,000. But I had to make him do all these things. What that did was, number one, it was a litmus test to determine and confirm, is this buyer serious or not? Because on the flip side, let's just say you make a verbal offer of $600,000 and magically the seller accepts it, they will still not continue with the offer. They will think, oh, wow, I offered 600 and the seller accepted so quickly, I should have offered even lower. I hope this is making sense. Giving a response back too quickly to Indian buyers means that they do not ask for a better deal or the agent did not work hard enough. So I knew the 600 offer would not get accepted. It took about 4.5 to 5 weeks, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, the same buyer bought the home for $735. The other aspect about Indian buyers, it's not what they pre-approved for, it's what they set the budget for. So asking the right question, not what you pre-approved for, what your budget is critical. If they want you to make an offer, which is lowball offer, submit the offer in writing, collect all the forms, the earnest money check, option fee check, and then play the game back and forth. I want to pause here. This is one of the most critical aspects of my training today. Any question on this aspect?
I have a question.
Please do ask.
I wonder, for example, when he asked for 600,000, but don't you need to qualify to see if they can go up to 750 so you don't waste your time?
Absolutely, yes. So that's a very fair point, a very fair question. As an agent, I must do my due diligence. So when he provides the pre-approval letter, I know the lender's information. I would call the lender and find out what is the buyer's financial situation. Can they afford to pay more or not? So if a buyer gives me a pre-approve for $600,000, does not mean that's what they pre-approved for. In our culture, if I'm pre-approved for let's just say $1 million and I want to offer 600, I'll tell my lender, give me a pre-approval for 600. So another data point, don't rely on the pre-approval letter, call the lender, ask the question. But you're correct. I would certainly find out if they have the financial ability of paying more. If not, then I move on to the next client. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
All right. I have 8 more minutes, so let me move on to the next slide. And you guys can unmute yourself and share with me. What do you guys think is the most important thing to win Indian clients? Anyone? Lata, you cannot answer this question, all right? Anyone?
This is Sherry again. I would say respect and competency.
Respect, competence. Great answer. Anyone else? I need one more guess. Anyone?
You agree with them on everything to start out with, and then slowly break the ice.
Fair enough. So agree with them. In my
Trust.
opinion, the most important, somebody said trust, most important thing I'll share with you. What I'm showing you on the screen over is a circle. Have you guys watched this movie, Meet the Fockers? You know what's that called? The circle of trust. And you know where you guys sit? Way outside the circle of trust. So everything you do is about building trust with the Indian clients. Trust is the most important thing. I'm going to switch gears and talk about religious beliefs. You guys may have heard the term Feng Shui. Feng Shui applies to buyers who are from Asia and from China. For Indians who are Hindus, believe in a science called Vaastu, V-A-S-T-U. Vaastu is an extremely complex science of construction. It tells you where the home, how the home should be built, where the kitchen should be, where the bedroom should be, where the bathroom should be. So when you work with buyers in America, most of them have their parents, in-laws, or the priests back in India, and they tell them, hey, when you buy a home, make sure it's Vastu compliant. So the most requested item is the direction that the front door faces. Again, I'll say it one more time. It's the direction that the front door faces and not what the house faces. What I mean by that is you could have a facade of a home elevation against the street, but the door could be at an angle. What you need to do is stand outside the home, put your back against the front door. The direction you're facing, that's the direction I'm referring to. If it's north or east, it's considered positive or auspicious. If it's south facing, it's considered inauspicious. But one thing I'll share with you is, at least in the Texas market, most homes have an attached garage where you go to the garage and then you come inside the home into the laundry room or the mudroom. You guys have that as well in your market? Yes? A lot of times, the door that brings you from the garage into the home, into the laundry room or mudroom, a lot of times that door faces a different direction as a front door. So we're working with the buyer who says, I must buy a home that's Vastu compliant. Check the direction of the door from the garage into the home. If the front door faces south and the buyer says, oh, I'm not going to buy the home, check that direction. If that faces north or east, tell the potential client that, listen, the main access point to the home that you're going to use 90% of time is north or east facing. Go back to your priest, go back to your parents, go back to your in-laws, and see if they would be okay with that. I have sold numerous homes in Texas just by checking on that. Now, again, just because I've decoded that for you, if the front door faces east, please do not bring up the direction of the door from the garage into the home. If your clients are picking a home site to build a home from ground up, they prefer lots which are cul-de-sac shaped lots, which means that a cul-de-sac shaped lot is narrow in the front and wide at the back. That mimics a cow's mouth. In India, cows are considered holy. If I flip that, and if the front is wide and the back is narrow, it mimics a lion's mouth. Those lots are considered inauspicious. So working with a client, they're walking through a home site, they see a home site as lion shape and they say, I don't want to buy it. All you have to say is, oh, I see you don't want to buy the home because it's lion shape or non-Vastu. Guess what you're doing? Demonstrating to the client that you understand the culture and you're getting in the circle of trust. Here are some fine prints. Vastu compliance is extremely complex science of construction. You can certainly do some Google search and get all the detail. Like, for example, this slide shows you kind of in a picture how things should be placed. If someone wanted to build a 100% Vastu compliant home, they would have to build a custom home. But a lot of markets don't have that opportunity or they're too expensive. So while you can research, please do not become an expert in Vastu compliance. While I know a lot about it, when I work with a client, I don't assume that just because they're from India, that they believe in Vastu. I ask a simple question. Do you need the home to face a specific direction? And they say, yes, I want it to be north facing, east facing. I said, all right, so you want a Vastu compliant home. Then follow-up question is there anything else that's important for you? Allow them to tell me, I want the kitchen here, bedroom here. And then I make my list and find that opportunity. I don't go about telling them everything I know about Vaastu. So it's a tricky subject. Don't demonstrate your knowledge, ask the question, and also don't assume that all Indians believe in Vaastu. India is a big country, 1.4 billion people. Generally speaking, Hindus who are from South India believe in Vaastu more than anyone else. Does that make sense? All right, moving on. Buying habits. They're budget-oriented, value-conscious, informed buyers. I mentioned to you early on, when you work with Indian buyers, don't ask what they're pre-approved for, ask them what their budget is, because they'll always spend less money when what they're pre-approved for. Value-conscious for them, having a media room with all the equipment is not as important, but making sure the home has right square footage, right school zoning, close to amenities is more important. Indians are research kings. I can promise you this. When you start working with Indian buyers, even if you show them the perfect home, exactly what they want as a first home, they will not buy it. They will go and see 50 more homes, 100 more homes, and they come back and buy the same home. Because in our culture, we want to make sure we have unturned every stone. We've done all the research. So following up with an Indian client to say, you know what, let's make an offer, otherwise the home will go away, is not going to move the needle. You have to ask the question, what's important to them in the decision-making power, whether it's school zoning, tax rates, amenities, flood zoning, whatever it may be. You must become a research partner with them. And when you do that, then you can navigate them to the finish line quickly. They love to negotiate, including our commission. So if I can just quickly ask the question, if you were to ever buy from a car dealership, you'd expect it to never pay sticker price. The salesperson knows that, and you know that. You must walk away from a car dealership feeling that you got a deal. You may get a free floor mat, or you may get a free screen or a car wash. But when you buy a car from a car dealership, you must feel that you got a deal. Same thing applies to Indian buyers. They must get a feel that they got a deal. They may buy $1 million home or $500,000 home, but they'll fight tooth and nail for a small inspection issue. So making them feel they got a deal is really, really important. I'm almost out of time. I'm going to pull up my last slide that has the key takeaways. Winning Indian clients, the circle of trust. Religious beliefs are talk about Vaastu compliance. Cultural values, they're risk averse, one-upsmanship, and buying habits, budget-oriented, love to negotiate, very informed buyers. Lata, I believe I'm on the dot at 25 minutes. You asked me to save last 5 minutes for Q&A. So if you want to read out the questions that are coming in from the chat, or people want to ask me, I'm here to answer questions, Lata.
If there's any questions, please put them in the chat, or you could unmute yourself as well. I don't see anything in the chat at the moment.
Maybe later on somebody might have questions. Will you be open to answering?
Yeah, so my contact information is here, Lata. They can email me or text me. So once the session is over, I'll be logging off. So I have a few more minutes. If anyone wants to ask a question or unmute themselves, happy to answer right now.
I just wanted to make an observation. This is Sherry again. Thank you very much. Great presentation, and I learned a lot. I have observed that once you have demonstrated your worth, your experience, your expertise, and have become part of the circle of trust, that there is a very high level of loyalty and respect within that circle of trust.
That is so truthful. I agree with you 100%.
Absolutely.
It's where when you win the trust of an Indian family or Indian client, they become advocates for you, not just with their friends, family members, but the best communication platform the Indians use is called WhatsApp. They have a WhatsApp group for everything. But at the same time, if you cross them or if you don't treat them well, disrespect them, whatever it may be, they'll become the biggest loudspeakers to tell everyone, don't ever work with this realtor. But you're correct. Once you win that trust, they become advocates for you and tell other clients to work with you. So great point over that.
Thank you.
Lata, am I good for now? Any other questions?
I don't have any questions. Anybody else has any questions?
Awesome.
No? Um,
Thank you, Kunal, for your wonderful presentation. We really appreciate you coming here today. If we have any questions for Kunal, please leave it in the chat room and maybe we can come back later. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Shall I go, Lata?
yes.
Okay.
Wait a minute, Arana. Let me just remind everybody that we are going to do a raffle, 2 Amazon gift cards. But you have to stay till the end. So be here. And then I think we are going to, Fong, you have a slide with yesterday's sponsors. Yesterday was amazing day for us. We all enjoyed a lot, and we want to acknowledge our sponsors who were responsible and equal for our success. The first one is Longbridge Financial.
We have First American Natural Hazard Disclosures,
Accurate Termite,
Design Home Loans,
My NHD,
Home Team Inspection Services,
Corner Escrow,
and Advanced Horizon Lending. Actually, I think they were the one sponsor that had sponsored us for 3 years in a row.
that's
you.
correct. They have supported us since we started this Taste of Global. So really appreciate your Advanced Horizon. Okay. Christina.
Oh, yeah, thank you to all our sponsors. Now we're moving on to our next section. Rana?
Yes, thank you. It is my honor to introduce to you Sefi Kumar. He has an amazing resume. He is the Secretary General of FIAPC in Canada. He's a broker for Remax Premier and is one of the top realtors in the world, but for Remax. Protocol Magazine has established him as the most successful international realtor. He won in 1922 a Queen's Jubilee Award by the Canadian Parliament, and in 2023 a Community Service Award by Remax Premier, co-chair strides for Mackenzie. So on a personal level, and I had a chance to speak very briefly to Sefi, he is one of 9 siblings, and he has a huge family and an even bigger international network of professionals. So Sefi, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Arana. Nice talking to you this morning, and good morning to everybody in California side, and good afternoon here in Toronto. So I'm gonna mainly talk about Toronto, even though Canada is big. I have some knowledge about the other markets in Canada because I created Canada-Turkey Realtors Alliance 6 years ago. That has 79 Turkish realtors that we bridge some real estate action between Canada and Turkey. I have an office in Turkey, Remax Zeytin, because my clients international clients are mainly in Germany and Switzerland. There's 5 million Turkish people in Germany. Mostly from my region, they immigrate to Canada and Germany and Switzerland. That's why I get into international real estate. That's why I help them in many NGOs. And also, as Kunal was saying, the trust, that's where we created. We helped our community with NGOs and charities, and then where we show our sincerity, our service to our community, and then we get back their trust and harvesting in real estate. And when it comes to Toronto real estate market, Canada is a little different than USA. It's a one-centric growing country rather than multi-centric like Canada, the USA. We get 500,000 international immigrants and 1.3 million international students for 40 million population of country. It's a huge number. 60% of them settles in Greater Toronto area. That's why the last 15 years, we had a big population growth and showed limited supply that drive Toronto real estate market becoming one of the expensive real estate market. And last 2-3 years, because of the rise on the interest rates, it didn't crash, but it's been steady. And I see personally many of the Canadian investors and realtors, they've been as another option, they've been looking at the many US markets, including myself 2 weeks ago. I was in Virginia. I see some properties there for my clients and myself. I've been in Florida a few times. Orange County myself, even though I visited, but not for the real estate purposes. Despite the recent global challenges, Toronto real estate market remain very strong. Still, it is not rising as much as before, but it's steady. And commercial real estate, I'm not very much involved, but it's still booming here. There's so much demand here. What happened right now in the last 2 years, because condo market is not, pre-construction condo market not selling as much as before, most of the builders are converting those condo market to rental because Canadian government giving lots of incentives for the the tax waiving, and development charges are waived on those ones. So they are diversifying our market here. It used to be mainly condo market, all for pre-construction for the end user, but now it's changing to most for rental and social housing. One of the major challenges is affordability crisis. We get affected as well because of home prices have skyrocketed, making it difficult for first-time home buyers because our mortgage system is different than USA. We get affected different than USA home buyers because our mortgages are, even though our amortization 25 to 30 years, our mortgages get renewed every 1/3 or 5th year. So when I went to Virginia, I see other mortgages and people lock their mortgages for 25 years, 30 years. It's different than what we have here in USA, in Canada. Why Toronto investors are eyeing the USA market, especially Orange County, because it's diversification. Investors are seeking to diversify their portfolios beyond the Canadian market, which used to be very strong, and last 2-3 years when they get hit, they want to be diversifying to other parts. And when it's come to Canada, there's not much option here rather than Toronto itself, even though some of the domestic immigration is happening towards Alberta and some other states, not as much as going towards California, Florida, or Virginia. So the people are going more towards USA than moving within Canada. And when it comes to market stability, Orange County's real estate market's been known for its stability and long-term growth potential. That's very much known to Canadian homebuyers and the realtors. We have 77,000 realtors under Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, which is as big as Miami Realtors. And it's always been the agenda about the global real estate when it's come to the US real estate market. As many have seen on the Realtor Quest, where we had few months ago, there were so many visitors and the boards from USA, they were there, they see with their eyes and they witness. There's been more interest this year's Realtor Quest than previous years towards US market. As the market gets slowed down and the rates are increased, the buyers and the realtors, they changed their eyes towards other markets, mainly USA. And Orange County offers a unique blend of beautiful beaches, excellent schools, and family-friendly environment. That's something we don't have in Toronto. We don't have our beaches and so what the California or Orange County or Florida offers or Virginia offers. That takes lots of attention of the Canadian buyers. Even my own kids, they are entertaining different parts of USA, including one wants to go in California side because he's in IT. My other son is more in the restaurant business. He wants more Virginia. So it's just changing. Everybody's habit is different. My son in IT works for TD Bank. He's looking at the Irvine, Newport Beach, Costa Mesa, Anaheim, all those areas. He's checking, analyzing, informing me. I learn from him. He's there every day. Sooner or later, there is so many. Those are the new generation. That's what they are more informative than us. They more analyzes than us. We were more local. So the new generation coming, they were more mobilized. They're more mobilized. They go other markets. They wanna entertain. They wanna see why Toronto market, because here our market condo market is changing from 600,000 to 1.2 million. Meanwhile, detached homes are 1.2 to 2.6 million. So when they see other markets, it's different. Some of them, it's more affordable because our banking system is more strict than USA banking system. Our approval rate is very tough. For every $100,000, you need $27,000 confirmed income versus in USA, it's lots, depends on which state, it's lots easier to get, you can be qualified more. And here, there's not much incentive for the first-time home buyer, and there are more incentive in first-time home buyers in USA. And there's different program for Canadians, what they can buy over there. And also, I want to add something about the Turkish buyers too. I think that's another thing we can touch base because many clients of mine, whoever resides this diaspora in Europe, they buy in Turkey. But also, I have many clients in Turkey, and I also am liaison officer of Turkish Real Estate Federation, where I introduced them to NAR. They signed an agreement a few years ago. And September 2025, NAR going to have a big conference in Istanbul to introduce US market to Turkish buyers and builders there. I've been already working with them. As Kunal was saying, the habits of the buyers in Turkey, it's as much as it's similar to India, but those people, they are well off. They buy outside. The people in Turkey who buy not in Canada because we have a ban, who buys in different parts of USA, that's New York, Virginia, Florida, and California, they act more like Westerners because it's different. Within Turkey, the people who invest outside, they are more Westerner. When they go buy in Germany or other country, they act like them. It's a little different. And of course, trust is always very important in every aspect of our industry. You have to create a trust to somebody who never knew you. So there has to be a bridge, has to be a personal touch. And the Toronto real estate market dynamics, nature, and challenges have created a unique opportunity for California realtors, particularly in Orange County. By understanding the needs and motivation of Toronto investors, you can position yourself effectively, attract and serve this growing market segment. And I really appreciate your opportunity to be here. And if there is any question, I can be more specific to their question. And thank you for everybody's time.
Seifi, thank you so much for this presentation. There is a couple of questions, if I may ask them. In the chat, we have, what are the requirements for US buyers to purchase in Toronto? Are there any restrictions?
Yes, Canadian government, they put a ban. It used to be a taxes. A couple of years ago, they put a ban on international buyers for who wants to buy any residential less than 6 units. So the US buyers can buy commercial or anything over 6 units, or some of the recreational area, which is some touristic area like Banff, Whistler, those areas, they allow in some small areas to buy, but overall, 99% of Canada, all the international buyers are banned to buy residential real estate in Canada. And that's extended until January 2027.
I see. So it's more like underdeveloped areas, possibly they'll.
Yeah, few underdeveloped areas they're allowing. Even that, it won't be easy because the lawyers are going through the hell because they are responsible. They will go through all the documentation before they approve. They have to call the Revenue Canada to approve it before they proceed with anything. Even that is very strict.
So thank you so much for that. Seifi, do you see residential rental properties in Toronto bringing good income to investors?
Right now, my own property doesn't bring because the mortgage rates are high. Mortgage rate, even though one bedroom is $2,600, $2,500, but at the same time, the same bedroom purchase power is $600,000. When you put $120,000, $480,000 mortgage doesn't cover the rent. And the appreciation, it's been steady, not for the couple of years. It's in the last 2 years, it's not depreciating, it's not appreciating, it's steady, Toronto market. So it's if that question was 4 or 5 years ago, I would say yes. When the mortgage rates, they were in 2-3% range, but right now the mortgages are high, even though inflation today came low, 2.7%, and we are expecting a mortgage reduction, the interest rate reduction in 2 weeks. But still, we don't know what will be the perception of the buyers because the perception going to decide, not actually the rate reduction.
Very interesting, very interesting. Thank you so much. So basically what we hear from you is that we have opportunity to service your population here in Orange County.
100%, because myself, I will get rid of liquidate some of my properties, because when I went to here, it's our cost of houses and condos, it's higher because 34% of the value goes on the levies and development charges, which is the government fees. It's very high compared to the state, many states in USA, it's a lot less. So I was in Virginia, a semi-detached with $450,000 because those taxes are very low and the land value is very low. If you build the same house here in Toronto, it will cost you $900,000. So it's not the material and the labor, which is very similar, but levies and development charges and the land value in Greater Toronto area, it's very high. And if you are not in Toronto, because it's one centric country, there's no other place, much other place to invest. It's not like USA. USA, you have many options. Say, like, even if you go to California itself, you have different towns, different cities. So I think it's very attractive to Canadian buyers who liquidate, who see lots of investors. I think that's what they're doing. They're moving towards USA. They're buying in USA.
Thank you so much. Is there a chance that we could have your contact information maybe in the
Sure.
chat for people if they need to contact you?
I'll do that right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other question?
Hi, Safi. I was wondering, so as your buyers who are looking in California, in particular, what are their attractions towards Orange County area or the Los Angeles area?
So I get more interested parties in Turkey rather than my clients here, because my clients here, my own clients, overall Canadian clients are different. It's people from Turkey, and they buy here, they invest here, they're hardworking people. But I get lots of buyers and investors from Turkey. They depends on their budget. If people in well off, they're different budget, they invest in. They rather buy in anywhere in California. The other ones, it depends on their budget. They will go towards lower budgets. They will go in Florida or Texas. Not much Texas. I didn't see myself, but I see lots of Virginia. That's what I see.
Oh,
I
okay.
have a question, Safi.
Yes.
Now that Florida has this law that certain countries cannot buy, their citizens cannot buy property in their state, is
Okay.
Turkey one of them?
I don't think so. Turkey
Okay,
is buying like crazy. Like
okay.
in Turkey is having a property in California, Florida. It brings you on a different level in the society. All of a sudden, you are high, and that's why
That's
all the
good.
famous people, all the rich people, they have to have a property there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Elizabeth?
I do not have any other questions at the moment in the chat that I see. If anybody else does have a question and did not put it in the chat, you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask the question. If not, then we'll have a contact information for Saifi in the chat, and you're welcome to contact him that way.
Thank you, Elizabeth. This is Sherry Bahrami again. I see that the presentation is being recorded. Will we have the opportunity to have a link to the video recording for future enrichment?
Fong
Yes,
with the
everyone
best
who
person.
registered will get a link to the recording once it's been uploaded.
Thank you.
Okay, Christina?
Okay, now that we don't see any other additional questions, I wanted to thank Safi for your wonderful presentation and good insight about upcoming Canadian buyers, possibly for us to connect with you from Toronto once they sell their properties. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for everyone who joined today. I'm going to go ahead and start the raffle portion.